Hey everyone, Mason Zero here for Satisfactory News. Welcome to the channel. When you're a Satisfactory beginner, things seem simple, but the game gets real complicated real fast. Having an efficient start to your playthrough can make a huge impact on the rest of your game and give you a major jump start. In this video, I'll be going over some things you can do early on that will really help you later. Connect your power grid. Providing power to your factory is much less exciting than actually building out the factory itself when you're starting, but as you do so, you'll find you need an absolute ton of power. One thing that is not made clear but completely changed the game for me when I discovered it is that connecting your power generators via power poles increases the total capacity of your power grid. Essentially, you want to make sure everything you have that creates power is connected in some way via power poles and power lines. Technically, you could just split the power evenly between two non-connected power sources, but it'll be much easier to keep track of if your entire system is connected. Don't stress about copper early on. Copper is plentiful and is one of the first resources you find along with iron. However, it only goes into producing wires and then cables. Personally, I only have one copper miner going into one copper ingot smelter, going into one wire constructor after over 12 hours of gameplay. Meanwhile, I have 5 iron miners by comparison and use all of it. Even though hub upgrades and space elevator tiers can require copious amounts of wire and cable is crucial to making power lines, starting a copper operation early in the game and storing up wire will ensure that you'll have enough of both to last a really long time with just one operation. Split your mining operations. It may seem logical that one miner should supply one smelter and one smelter should supply one constructor. However, that is far from the case. In the early game, you should unlock splitters and mergers as soon as possible to make better use of your ore. You can easily split the resources from a miner into 2 or 3 conveyors, each going into a different smelter. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with a very backed up smelter. It's tempting to start mining as much as possible early on, but the amount of materials that you can gather from a miner is pretty impressive, even at the start of the game, and especially so if the deposit is pure rather than impure. Make upgrades a priority. While it's easy to get distracted by making factories, you should always aim to be working on hub and space elevator upgrades. The new buildings will make the game more fun and make your factories better, so the earlier you unlock those, the better. It will also help unlock other things like a larger player inventory, which is super useful when exploring around for materials. Satisfactory beginners will be in awe of each new discovery, so go at a pace that is comfortable for your learning curve. Research coal power as soon as possible. Getting upgrades until you get to the coal generator is essential to the early game. Crafting biomass is fine for a while, but ultimately you will want coal because it can be entirely automated, unlike creating biomass. Ever since I upgraded to coal power, I've had more time to work on my factory, and I haven't had to worry about getting fuel. Coal will save you a lot of time in the early game so you can discover and create more things, but it does take a little while to get to, so make sure you start going down that path as soon as possible. Check every building for backlogs. If you're not splitting up your conveyors early on, or if you haven't yet unlocked splitters, chances are that your smelters and constructors will get backlogged. Check to see if they have a stack of 100 items on the input end at all times. If so, you should periodically add those stacks of materials into your inventory. Then you can take all of that to the craft bench and make whatever item you want to have. This can accelerate your progress in the earlier parts of the game, and it cuts down on dead time while you're waiting for things to finish being constructed. Hopefully this Satisfactory Beginner's Guide helps you get an efficient start to the game rather than floundering around. We certainly encourage you to experiment on your own and completely ignore all this advice, but if you want to get right to the good stuff, this should be the way to go. I've been Mason Zero from Satisfactory News, and I'll see you next time.